In 2017, Nintendo would release The Breath of the Wild. Originally developed for the Wii U, it became a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. Starting development in 2011, the game went through 6 tumultuous years of development before being fully realized, issues with its physics engine and its ambitious scope being the main reasons for why. When The Breath of the Wild eventually released, it was a commercial success, selling millions of copies worldwide within its first month, and receiving universal acclaim. Compared to the previous generation of video game box art, realism as an advertising point became less prominent, with covers shifting toward more stylized and distinct art directions. While the Legend of Zelda franchise didn't normally rely on realism in its box art, Nintendo briefly responded to fan expectations with Twilight Princess, which adopted a darker, more grounded fantasy aesthetic after criticism of Wind Waker's cartoon visuals. Skyward Sword shifted again into a watercolor-inspired direction, but its box art still leaned on traditional fantasy illustration rather than matching its in-game style. By the mid-2010s, however, broader industry trends had moved decisively towards unique, stylized visuals, and box art began reflecting this shift. Breath of the Wild is a clear example of this. Its cover mirrors the game's cel-shaded, painterly aesthetic, marking a return to box art that directly represents the game's visual identity, something that the series hadn't fully done in its previous 2 entries. The Breath of the Wild essentially reimagined how game developers would approach open-world games. Eiji Aonuma and his team made it so that the Breath of the Wild's world and its environments were manipulable and interactable, something more akin to sandboxes like Minecraft or Terraria, giving the player more autonomy and freedom to go through the game on their own terms. A departure from the old model for open worlds which constantly guided the player for progression. Furthermore, the Breath of the Wild has been cited as being the inspiration for many successful open worlds that would come later. Among some of those names are Genshin Impact, Elden Ring, and Ghost of Tsushima.